Welcome to Popternative, where we dive into topical discussions from the worlds of pop culture, social media, and sports. Here is your host, Peter Remoliotis, aka PD Beats.
Hello and welcome to Popternative. This is a talk show and podcast where we have digital discussions, the worlds of TV, film, pop culture, sports, lifestyle, everything really, depending on the guest. We talk about it all. As always, I'm your host, Peter Remoliotis. On social media, you know me as PD Beats. My guest recently put out his book called Crossroads, My Story of Tragedy and Resilience as a Humboldt Bronco. Kaleb Dahlgren is with us. Kaleb, welcome to Popternative.
Thank you so much for having me on here. I'm looking forward to it.
I'm really excited to chat with you. I mean, you announced that you were putting writing Crossroads. I mean, I just want to know a simple question: what was it like writing this book? What was it like using writing as an outlet for you, Kaleb?
Yeah, it was actually pretty cathartic, not gonna lie. I was a little bit scared going into it, didn't know what to expect. And so as I was writing, I was able to heal from lots of different things and just piece my life together a bit better. And so, especially in the 4.5 days, I don't remember after the crash, that was one of the big things that I didn't know much about. And so as I was getting more stories and hearing more stuff about that, it was really nice and cathartic for my healing process to look back and kind of piece it all together. So I was able to reflect too and see on who's all supported me in my life and all the connections I've had. And it's crazy just how much support I've received and how many people are in my corner. So I'm super grateful for that. But yeah, it was definitely a journey and there was tough times writing this. Even chapter 16 was super difficult.
Yeah.
But for me, it was really good. It was cathartic in my healing process.
What were the learning experiences that came with writing as well? Because this is obviously a new outlet for you. People that follow you on social media, you said this was a new experience for you, writing, putting your thoughts down on paper. What were learning experiences when you wrote this book?
Yeah, one of the big things I took away is as a hockey player and athlete, you put strength as physical strength, and that's it. You just focus so much on physical strength. And I was fortunate enough to have the mental strength too through a mental performance coach. But there's always so much emphasis on that physical. But I really found strength in being vulnerable.
Yeah.
And for me, I think there's so much strength in vulnerability. And that was one of the things I took away from this whole writing process was just to be vulnerable and open and that there is strength within it. And that it's okay to be going through tough times, but to open yourself up is really true strength. And so for me, that's one of the big things I took away. And also how much work really goes into a book.
Yeah.
You see that, you hold it in your hands, like, okay, it's just a book. But all the effort, time, and commitment that goes into it is actually crazy.
Yeah.
So for me, that was one of the big things I took away was just how difficult it was to actually put everything on together. And then it's even a little bit more, though. It's like the pictures, the cover. Like I designed the whole cover.
Yeah.
The quotes on the back end, people to provide quotes. It's a lot more than you think. Even the pictures inside the book.
Yeah.
But I enjoyed the whole process and I loved it. And I loved being creative too. And it was nice to use my creative side because I do have that. But in sports, normally it's on a system, and it's a team system, and that's it.
Yeah,
So that
absolutely.
have my other side shine through is something really cool.
But how long was the like when did you officially start writing Crossroads? Like how long, like do people read, like what was the process like lengthwise?
Yeah, so right after the crash, I actually ended up putting stuff in my phone, just writing a note on my phone about my thoughts, my beliefs, my perception, and just kind of how I wanted to heal and move forward from this. And I never shared that with anybody, not once. I never thought I was gonna share it with anybody either. So I had a little bit already written in my phone.
Yeah.
But I started writing in January of 2020 with the co-author Dan Robson,
Yeah.
and afterwards we would meet every Sunday for about 4 or 5 hours and just hash it out with interview style. We'd go in deep topics, talk about things I really want to discuss in the book, kind of my whole life outline up to at August 2019, I guess. And so we just did that. And that was really, really huge for me as a person, just to really dive deep and talk with him and
Yes.
connect. And so then after that, we transcribed the voice recording to text and organized the text into chapters and how we thought it'd see fit. And yeah, he ended up sending some chapters. I'd edit them, and I was really, really, I was really, I guess, involved in this process where I wrote a ton as well, and so it was really great collaborative effort.
Yeah.
And by the end of this, I guess, start of December 2020, that's when the book went to print. So it took a full year of just hardcore hitting it and Yeah, it was a really cool process and it was challenging.
Yes.
But at the end of the day, I'm really proud of it, and I put my whole heart and soul into the book.
Absolutely. And it is fantastic. And Crossroads, it Caleb, it is packed. There's a lot of stuff in here. There's a lot of stories. There's a lot of things about your path to recovery and everything. And sure, in terms of the selection process, because there's a certain amount of pages, right? There's a lot of things you want to put in. Can you talk about that a little bit? Like what you were hoping, what were things like you're like, I need to put this in the book? What were things that were like, maybe if there's room, like were there some certain things that you
Yeah.
really wanted to make sure were in the book, Caleb?
Yeah, so one of the biggest things for me was the tribute chapter. I needed that in the book regardless. I needed to weave that in somewhere, and for me to honor the 16 who aren't here on chapter 16 was really what I wanted it to be. To be honest, I said like that I want on chapter 16 for the 16 that needs to be in there. And I also really wanted to have those blank pages. As readers will see, I want where is blank pages in there, which signify days lost. And so those were super impactful. I really wanted that. And then other stuff that I really wanted was the diabetes journey. I really wanted my diabetic life in there and how it's an illness that you don't really see, but you have to deal with it 24/7. And then I also wanted mental health and emotional health, physical health involved in there, and my recovery. I also wanted to have my Broncos year involved, but I also wanted a lot more where I lost my personal trainer at a young age, lost a teammate at a young age too. I wanted that to be in there. And I also wanted my dad's struggle with life in there too. And so
Yeah.
I think that there's tons of different pieces to the puzzle. And then I also wanted after the crash and how I have moved forward and how I'm still moving forward and living the honor of 16, but carrying on with my life too. So I'd say there's more bigger topics in there, but I also wanted to like to have the hope, family resilience, mental health, emotional health, physical health, diabetes, just
Yes.
some bigger, even death too. And I know that's a tough, touchy topic, but my view on death could maybe hopefully help someone going through a tough time too.
For
And so
sure.
those were some of the things I really wanted in there. That HarperCollins was great, and some of the tough like stuff they took out where it was okay. And at the end of the day, you can't have everything in your book, and I
Yeah.
think that's great too because I like to have stuff for myself too,
Yeah.
and
That's why I
I don't
asked
want
about
the
the
whole
selection
world.
process.
Yeah,
I'm sure that was a big
yeah.
process of maybe Zoom calls talking about what's going to be in it, what's not. That's a big part of it.
100%. It is. It's a huge part for sure. And I'm happy that HarperCollins was amazing. They didn't really take out anything that I really wanted in there.
Mhm.
And I really wanted my feelings of the Humboldt community and the Humboldt families to be in there too. And my thoughts on the survivors and how amazing they all are. So I really laid it all out there. And HarperCollins was absolutely incredible throughout the whole process because I know lots of authors have had experiences where they put their heart and soul into one chapter and the publisher is just like, yeah, no, we don't want that, and they literally think it's like the end all be all chapter of their book.
Mhm.
So
Yeah, no, for sure. Absolutely. You talked about it, but I just wanted to know in terms of when people read Crossroads, they're going to get a lot of things out of it. There's going to be a lot of emotions in play. But is there anything universal that you're hoping the readers get out of when they read Crossroads, Caleb?
yeah, just to there's a couple things I guess. There's three big ones just to find the positive over negative in all situations of life
Yeah.
and to enjoy the grind of life and to control the things that they can control and focus on those. So those are probably the three big things, but the whole idea of the book was to truly help others. So I'm donating a portion of the proceeds to Stars Air Ambulance, who helped save lives on April 6th and who have saved lives every day. And then I also have topics in there, like I said, that really touched to the whole audience. Because when I wrote this book, I didn't want it just to be a straight hockey book per se. I wanted this to connect with everybody who reads it. For every person who picks it up from age 80 to age 10, I want every person that reads it to have a connection to it some capacity and to take something away. So I think the big thing is that people can take away is when they go through their own crossroads in life, how to move forward from those.
Yeah, for sure. And, you've been posting about social media. A lot of people have been posting on social media about the book as well. One thing people are talking about as well is the cover of the book. Can
Mhm.
you tell us a little bit about this and the decision in terms of making this your cover, Caleb?
For sure. So for me, I really wanted to design the book my own way. I have creative mind, I say, and for me, the one of the biggest ones was actually naming the book was another big one for me. But the picture itself, I wanted to speak 1,000 words. Everybody says a photo speaks 1,000 words, but kind of wanted to speak 1,001 words. I really wanted it to just be a showstopper. When people see it, they're like, holy, and they
Yeah.
it licks so many different emotions, because it has like tragedy, fear, hopelessness, but also has hope, resilience. It's got community, it's got family, direction, positivity because of the bright picture and sunny sky, blue sky. It's got direct, like so many different feelings that come from it. And I really wanted that to be the cover because it's in the intersection where the crash was, and I am standing in the middle of it. And I wanted to show that you can pursue through anything in life, and you can keep putting your foot forward on your path in life. And so I wanted lots of resilience to be in that photo, and I feel like it's done the job.
Absolutely, for sure. You are also for people that have kind of followed your career so far as well. Student athlete life is a big part of it as well. You went to York University, part of the Lions as well. What was that like being a student athlete, kind of balancing the sport aspect of it and the academic aspect of it, Kaleb? What was that like for you?
I absolutely enjoyed it. I love the grind of school and an athlete. Doing that in high school when I was in North Battleford was a dream come true to me. I knew I wanted to do it for university too. And just to have the opportunity to still be a student athlete, even though I wasn't able to play a game, to still have that
Yeah,
kind of title and tag, it was something really special to be a part of that team. And for me, one of the big things I took away was I still be a leader, even though I'm not playing on the games Friday and Saturday. So I was great in the classroom, try to help others throughout that time. Was involved in our community events with the team. I was our student council rep for varsity athletics. I was involved in tons of other committees on the school side.
it was busy
And
for
then
sure.
I was involved in probably 4 extracurricular activities. And within our team, I had about 4 roles, like strength and conditioning coach, a head of recruiting, varsity student athlete, representative for our team, and then also on the Black and Indigenous Varsity Student Athlete Alliance for our team too. And then on top of that, I tried to volunteer and write a book. So it's been a crazy, chaotic time. Graduated this spring with a commerce degree, and looking forward to next fall, hopefully with chiropractic studies, or this fall coming up with chiropractic studies. So it's been a really great challenge, but it's also been such a pivotal time for me to develop as a person, to grow
Absolutely.
and to mature. And so, yeah, I've loved it. I've absolutely loved this student life.
No, absolutely. Kaleb, thank you so much for coming on Popternative, man. I really appreciate it.
Thank you so much for having me on here. I really do enjoy it, and I love what you've been doing. It's incredible to follow your success in this podcast and all that. So I'm super excited.
Absolutely. Now, do you have anything else you want to say before we wrap up about Crossroads, your story of tragedy and resilience as a Humboldt Bronco, Kaleb?
I just say this is one out of 29 stories from that bus that day. I want people to know that's not the Broncos book. It's just a Bronco book, and that I'm looking forward to seeing other people share their stories too. And not even just from the bus, but there's tons of other stories from outside of the bus too,
Yep.
who have been impacted on that day. So
Yeah,
it's just one story out of it all, and I hope people can take something away from it as if they read it.
for sure. And the book is available now. People can order it right now. So,
Yep, you can order it anywhere online. You can go to any bookstore and they'll have them out for sale too. Costco, Walmart has it too. Anywhere you can get a book, that's where it'll be. So,
absolutely. It's kind of like music too, where when people make a song these days, it's like wherever you listen to music, Spotify, Apple Music, it's kind of the same thing.
yeah, exact same thing, honestly. It's hilarious. It's all new to me too. Like, I'm not huge into the book industry, so this is all new, and it's a cool learning process.
Yeah. And where can people follow you on social media to keep update with everything?
Just at Kaleb Dahlgren, so KalebDahlgren. Super basic, super mainstream, but don't want to be fancy for too many people.
Absolutely. Well, thank you so much for coming on the show again, and congrats with Crossroads, man. Seriously.
Amazing. Well, thanks so much for having me on here.
No
And like I
problem.
said, it's an honor.
Yeah, absolutely. It means a lot that you say that. Well, this has been Popternative, youtube.com/Popternative. For previous episodes, be sure to go purchase Crossroads by Kaleb Dahlgren, his story of tragedy and resilience as a Humboldt Bronco. Out now. Until next time, this is Kaleb Dahlgren and PD Beats signing off.
Thank you for tuning in to Popternative. Make sure to check out our past episodes of Popternative on YouTube. Be sure to like Popternative on Facebook and follow us on Twitter.
This has been an Autograph Communications production.